I was supposed to marry one of the 3 Moretti brothers. They raised me,
protected me,
promised me. Then she showed up. Sophia, with her fake tears and manufactured helplessness, and suddenly, I became invisible. They missed my wedding appointment to comfort her, destroyed my heirloom to appease her, ripped apart my wedding dress for her. So when they finally stood me up at the courthouse, I did something crazy. I married a complete stranger. Turns out my stranger is Dimitri DeVito, the most dangerous man in New York. Now the brothers want me back. Too bad. I'm done being their second choice. And my husband? He'd burn the entire city down before letting them near me again. My name is Isabella Russo. 6 years ago, my parents died protecting secrets that could have destroyed the underworld. The Moretti family took me in. Don Moretti made a promise to my father, raise me as one of their own. He had 3 sons. Luca, the eldest, cold, calculated, always thinking 3 moves ahead. Marco, the middle child, charming, dangerous, the one who could talk his way out of anything. Nico, the youngest, loyal to a fault, would die for his brothers without question. When she grows up, Don Moretti announced at my 18th birthday, one of you will marry her. For 4 years, I believed that promise meant something. I was wrong, because 6 months ago, everything changed. That's when she arrived. Sophia Marino appeared on a Tuesday. The brothers came home covered in blood, not theirs. They were carrying a woman, blonde, fragile-looking,
crying.
She saved our lives, Luca announced, laying her on the couch. Threw herself in front of a drunk driver to push us out of the way. I could see the scrape on her arm, barely bleeding. But the tears? Those flowed freely. I don't know what came over me, Sophia whispered, looking up at them with wide blue eyes. I couldn't let anything happen to you. Marco held her hand. You're safe now. We'll take care of you. That was the beginning of the end. Within a week, Sophia had moved into my room. Not the guest room. My room. The one closest to the brothers' wing. The one I'd had since I was 2 years old. Sophia needs us close, Marco explained, using the nickname they'd already given her. For her safety. You understand, right, Bella? I watched them carry my things to the guest quarters. 6 years of memories. Photographs of my parents. The stuffed bear my father gave me before he died. All of it shoved into boxes like I was a tenant being evicted. Sophia stood in my doorway, her doorway now, and smiled. Thank you for understanding, Isabella. You're so mature about this. I should have said something then. I didn't. 2 weeks later, it was my birthday. 22. The age I'd been told, since childhood, that I'd finally know which brother I'd marry. I woke up early, put on the dress I'd been saving, waited in the dining room. The brothers came down at noon. Morning, Bella, Nico said, distracted, checking his phone.
Good morning, I replied.
Did you forget something? Luca barely looked up from his tablet. Forget what? My heart sank.
Today.
It's... Oh my God. Sophia's voice rang out from upstairs. I feel terrible. I think I have a fever. All 3 brothers moved as one. We're coming, Sophia. Don't move. We'll bring medicine. Bella, we'll catch up later. They were gone before I could finish my sentence. I sat alone at the dining table, staring at the birthday cake I'd asked the chef to make. It was chocolate. My favorite. Nobody came back downstairs until dinner. By then, the cake had been cleared away.
Thrown out, probably.
How's Sophia? I asked quietly. Much better, Marco said, smiling. just a little cold. But we got her everything she needed. That's good. Luca finally glanced at me. Why are you so dressed up?
No reason, I said.
Just felt like it. Nobody mentioned my birthday. Not once. 3 days later, I woke up at 2 a.m. with violent food poisoning. I could barely make it to the bathroom. Fever. Chills. Everything hurt. I texted the brothers. Need help. Really sick. Can someone take me to the hospital? 20 minutes passed. Then, sorry, Bella. We're at the casino with Sophia.
She wanted to see it.
Can you handle it yourself? Take an Uber if it's serious. An Uber. To the hospital. At 2 a.m. while they were at a casino. I called my driver instead. He rushed me to the ER. Severe gastroenteritis. I needed 4 fluids and spent 6 hours in the emergency room. Alone. The brothers came home the next afternoon, laughing about how Sophia had won $10,000 at blackjack. Where were you last night? Nico asked when he saw me on the couch, still pale. Hospital, I said flatly.
Oh.
He looked uncomfortable. Are you okay? I'm fine now.
Good.
Hey, Sophia wants to go to the amusement park today. Want to come? I stared at him. I just got out of the hospital.
Right. Yeah.
Get some rest then. And just like that, they left again. That's when I started noticing the pattern. If I needed something, a ride, help with something heavy, someone to talk to, they were busy. If Sophia needed something, anything, no matter how small, they dropped everything. I sprained my ankle during a charity event. Had to limp home alone because they'd already left with Sophia, who had a headache. Sophia wanted specific tea from a shop an hour away. All 3 brothers went to get it. I had a presentation for my art restoration work, the biggest moment of my career. They promised to come. Sophia mentioned she'd never been to an amusement park. Guess which one they chose. I stood in that gallery, presenting my work to potential investors, scanning the crowd for familiar faces. They never showed. Later, I saw the photos on Marco's Instagram. The 3 of them with Sophia.
Cotton candy.
Ferris wheel. Big smiles. The caption, best day ever with our favorite girl. I wasn't even an afterthought anymore. I was a ghost. Isabella, it's time. Maria Moretti found me in the library 3 months later. Time for what? To choose. She smiled warmly. You're 22 now. The boys are ready. Whichever one you pick, we'll arrange the marriage immediately. My heart lurched. Finally. After all these months of being invisible, maybe this would change everything. I hesitated. I wrote a letter. Years ago. I left it in my drawer, my old room. It says who I chose. Then let's go get it. We walked to Sophia's room. I still thought of it as mine, and found her sitting at the vanity. What's going on? Sophia asked sweetly. Isabella needs something from her old drawer. I opened it. The letter was still there, tucked under some old photos. But Sophia saw it. Her eyes sharpened. What's that? Nothing, I said quickly, taking it. But I knew. I knew she'd seen it. Don Moretti called a family meeting that evening. Isabella has made her choice, he announced. In 1 week, we'll go to the courthouse. She'll marry one of my sons. This family will finally be complete. The brothers looked at each other, then at me. For the first time in months, they really looked at me. Who is it? Marco asked. You'll find out at the courthouse, Maria said, smiling. Traditional way. The night before the appointment, I couldn't sleep. Tomorrow, everything would change. Whichever brother I'd chosen would finally see me again, would remember I existed.
Would.
My phone buzzed. Unknown number. A photo loaded. It was my letter, the one from my drawer. Someone had photographed it. Then a text. With just one call, I can make sure they never show up. Want to see how easy it is? I knew who it was.
Sophia.
The next morning, I put on a white dress. Simple, elegant. The kind of dress you wear when you're about to change your life. I arrived at the courthouse at 10 a.m. The appointment was for 10:30. 10:30 came and went. 10:45. 11 o'clock. I called Luca. Straight to voicemail.
Marco.
No answer. Nico. Nothing. By noon, I was sitting on the courthouse steps, white dress wrinkled, mascara running. People walked past, some staring, some pitying. Miss. A clerk poked her head out. We're closing soon. Are you waiting for someone? Yes, I whispered. They'll come. They promised. Honey, it's been 3 hours. 3 hours. They'd stood me up. On the day I was supposed to marry one of them. My phone finally buzzed. A text from Marco. Sorry, Bella. Sophia had an emergency. Her mom was in a car accident. We're at the hospital. We'll make it up to you. I stared at the message. They'd chosen her again. On the most important day of my life.
They'd
chosen her. Excuse me. I looked up. A man stood in front of me.
Tall.
Dark suit that probably cost more than my dress. Gray eyes that seemed to see straight through me. You've been waiting a long time, he said quietly. My voice cracked. I thought they'd come. They won't. You don't know that. I do. He held out his hand. My name is Dimitri DeVito, and I'd like to offer you an alternative. An alternative? Marry me instead. I should have said no. Should have asked questions. Demanded explanations. But I looked at this stranger, this man I'd never met, and saw something I hadn't seen in months.
He saw me.
Not as an obligation. Not as an afterthought.
He saw me.
Why? I asked. Because you deserve better than waiting for men who'll never choose you first. Okay, I heard myself say. Yes. 20 minutes later, I was married to a complete stranger. And for the first time in 6 months, I didn't feel invisible. I walked into the Moretti estate at 8 p.m. The family was having dinner. All of them froze when they saw me. Bella. Maria Moretti stood up. Where have you been? We were worried sick. Were you? Don Moretti frowned. What's that supposed to mean? I held up my left hand. The black diamond caught the chandelier light. I got married today.
What?
Lucas stood so fast his chair scraped. You what? I waited for 3 hours at the courthouse. You never came. So I married someone else. Bella, you can't be serious, Marco said, laughing nervously. This is another one of your... My what, Marco? My games? My tricks to get attention. Sophia, sitting beside Marco, covered her mouth. Oh no, Isabella. I'm so sorry. This is all my fault. If my mother hadn't had that accident. Your mother, I said coldly, is perfectly fine. I checked. Her eyes widened. Just for a second.
But I saw it.
What are you talking about? Nico demanded. Sophia's mom was in critical condition. We saw her. You saw someone in a hospital bed with minor injuries from a staged accident. The police report says the driver was paid to swerve at the right moment. That's insane, Sophia said, but her voice wavered. Why would I? to keep them away from me, on the day I was supposed to marry one of them. I looked at each brother in turn, and it worked. Lucas stepped forward. Even if that's true, and I'm not saying it is, you can't have actually married someone. You're upset. I get it, but his name is Dimitri DeVito, I said clearly. And yes, I married him. It's legal. It's done. The color drained from Don Moretti's face. DeVito, he repeated. The DeVito family? You know them? Maria asked. They control everything from New York to Boston, Don said slowly. There, Bella, what have you done? I've moved on. I pulled the Moretti family heirloom ring from my purse, the one Maria had given me years ago as a promise I'd marry into this family. I set it on the table. I don't need this anymore. Thank you for everything. Truly. But I think it's time I found my own family. Bella, wait. Nico reached for my arm. I pulled away. Don't. Please don't make this harder. You're being ridiculous, Lucas snapped. This is clearly a game to make us jealous. Fine. You have our attention. Now stop this nonsense. I looked at him. Really looked at him. This man I'd loved for years. This man who'd forgotten my birthday. I'm not trying to make you jealous, Luca. I'm trying to survive. And I walked out. Behind me, I heard Sophia's voice, shrill and panicked. She's lying. She has to be lying. But I didn't turn around. For the first time in my life, I kept walking. Dimitri's penthouse was nothing like the Moretti estate. Where theirs was all old-world grandeur and dark wood, his was glass and steel. Modern. Clean. A view of the entire city stretched out like he owned it. Which in many ways he did. Are you all right? He asked, pouring me wine. I just married a stranger and walked out on the only family I've ever known, I said, laughing shakily. I'm either the bravest person alive or the stupidest. You're neither. You're someone who knows her worth. I took the wine. Do I? He sat across from me, studying me with those gray eyes. You will. We talked until 3 a.m. that night. He told me about his family, the empire his father built, the promise he made to my father 6 years ago when my father died saving Dimitri's life. Your father said, protect my daughter, Dimitri said quietly. She deserves better than what the Morettis will give her. I thought I could do that from a distance. But after watching them treat you like you didn't exist, I couldn't anymore. You've been watching me? For 6 years. My breath caught. That's obsessive? Probably. He smiled slightly. But I keep my promises. And I promised your father I'd make sure you were okay. Why not just introduce yourself? Why wait? Because you love them. And I respect love, even when it's wasted on people who don't deserve it. He leaned forward. But when they didn't show up today, I saw my chance. And I took it. I should have been scared. I wasn't. I was relieved. Someone had seen me. Really seen me. 2 days later, a package arrived. Custom Valentino. Blood red silk with black lace. Your wedding dress, the note said. For the reception in 2 weeks. D. I held it up, and for the first time in months, I felt beautiful. I made the mistake of having it delivered to the Moretti estate. I needed to pick up the last of my things, and I thought, I don't know, maybe I wanted them to see it, see that I was moving forward. I found Sophia wearing it. She was twirling in front of my old mirror, the red silk swishing around her legs. Oh, Isabella. She smiled brightly when she saw me. This just arrived. I thought it was for me. It's so gorgeous. Take it off.
Now.
Don't be like that. I was just trying it on. You're not really getting married anyway, right? This is all just for show. So can I borrow? That's my wedding dress. Remove it. Immediately. Luca appeared in the doorway. What's going on? Your guest is wearing my wedding dress without permission. It's just a dress, Bella, Luca said, sighing. Why do you always have to be so dramatic? Dramatic? She's wearing my wedding dress. A dress you bought for a fake wedding, Marco added, coming up behind Luca. To a fake husband. For a fake marriage. My marriage is real. Then prove it, Nico challenged. Where is this mysterious husband? Why haven't we met him? Why hasn't he come here to... A tearing sound cut through the room. We all turned. Sophia stood there, the dress ripped from neckline to waist. Oops, she said, not sounding sorry at all. It caught on something when I tried to take it off. I'm so sorry, Isabella. She cut it. I saw the scissors on the desk behind her. She deliberately cut my wedding dress. You. How much was it? Luca pulled out his wallet. I'll replace it. Problem solved. I stared at him. You think this is about money? Isn't it? Marco looked between Sophia and me. Look, Sophia made a mistake. But you're overreacting. We'll buy you another dress. A better one. Just.
No. No.
I don't want your money. I don't want your apologies. I want you to see what you've become. I looked at all three of them. You've let this woman destroy everything.
And you can't even see it.
I pulled out my phone. Dimitri.
Hi.
Yes, the dress. They destroyed it. Luca lunged for my phone. Who are you calling? I stepped back. My husband. You're fake. He's real. He's very real. And in about 5 minutes, you're going to wish you'd taken me seriously. 4 minutes later, a black SUV pulled up outside. Dimitri walked in like he owned the place. He took one look at the destroyed dress in Sophia's hands, then at me. Are you hurt?
No.
Just angry.
Good.
Anger is useful. He turned to the brothers. Gentlemen, I'm Dimitri DeVito, Isabella's husband. I believe we need to have a conversation about boundaries. Don Moretti appeared, his face pale. Mr. DeVito, this is unexpected. Is it? Your boys destroyed my wife's property. In my world, that demands a response. It was an accident, Sophia said quickly. I didn't mean... Dimitri's eyes fixed on her.
Cold. Predatory.
I wasn't speaking to you. She shrank back. He looked at Luca. You're the eldest? I am. Then you should have known better. Dimitri pulled out his phone, typed something, then pocketed it again. I've just canceled 3 of your family's business contracts. Consider it a lesson in respecting other people's property. You can't do that, Marco said. I just did. And if anyone touches my wife or her belongings again, I'll cancel 3 more. He held out his hand to me. Isabella, let's go home. I took his hand. As we walked out, I heard Don Moretti say quietly, What have you boys done? We were halfway to the car when Dimitri stopped. He pulled off his jacket and wrapped it around my shoulders. I'm having another dress made, he said. It'll be ready tomorrow. And this time, I'm having it delivered to our home, where you're safe. Our home. For the first time in 22 years, I felt like I had won. 2 weeks later, an invitation arrived. Charity auction. Black tie. All proceeds to benefit children in conflict zones. We don't have to go, Dimitri said, reading over my shoulder. Yes, we do. Why? Because my parents' painting is being auctioned tonight. He went still. What? The Caravaggio. The one they died protecting. It was stolen during the war. It's been recovered. I showed him the auction listing. Starting bid, 5 million. Then we'll buy it.
No.
I touched his arm. Let's see what happens. I have a feeling this is going to be interesting. The auction house was packed with crime families from 6 different cities. The Morettas were there, of course. All 3 brothers in matching dark suits, flanking Sophia, who wore white like she was making some kind of statement. They saw me immediately. I was wearing the new dress Dimitri had made, black silk, elegant, expensive. I looked like money. I looked like power. I looked like someone they'd lost. Luca started toward me, but Dimitri's hand settled on my lower back. The message was clear. She's mine now. The auction began. Paintings, jewelry, rare books. Then the final item. Ladies and gentlemen, our crown jewel tonight. A Caravaggio, recovered after 22 years. This painting belonged to the Russo family, specifically Antonio and Maria Russo, who died protecting it. My breath caught. There it was. My parents' legacy. The last time anyone saw this painting, it was being carried out of a burning building by Antonio Russo himself. He died that night, but the painting survived. It has finally been recovered and will be sold tonight, with all proceeds going to our children's charity. The screen lit up with the image.
Hope.
That's what my father had named it. A mother holding a child, both looking toward light breaking through darkness. Starting bid, 5 million. 7 million. Luca called out immediately. People turned to stare. This painting belongs to Bella, he announced. And I'm bringing it home for her. Sophia beamed beside him, like this was the most romantic thing she'd ever seen. I felt Dimitri tense beside me. 10 million, someone else called. 15, Marco joined in. 20, Nico added. They were bidding against each other, fighting over my parents, painting like it was a prize to win me back. 30 million, Lucas said firmly. And I'll go higher if needed. The auctioneer looked around. 30 million. Do I hear? 40 million, Dimitri said quietly. The room went silent. Everyone turned to look at us. Lucas' face went red. 45. 50, Dimitri countered, his voice bored. Mr. DeVito, the auctioneer said nervously, this is highly unusual. 60, Luca said desperately. Bella, I'm doing this for you. I stood up. Every eye in the room fixed on me. Stop. Bella, Luca began. You want to buy my parents' painting?
Fine. Buy it.
Spend $60 million. Prove you can throw money at a problem. I looked at Dimitri. Don't bid anymore. Are you sure? He asked quietly. I'm sure. The auctioneer cleared his throat. 60 million, going once, twice, sold. To Mr. Luca Moretti. Applause rippled through the room. Luca stood up, triumphant. He grabbed the painting from the stage and carried it over to me like he was presenting a trophy. Here, he said, slightly breathless. Your parents' painting. I got it back for you. Now, can we please talk about this marriage thing? Can we start over? I looked at the painting, at my parents' final gift, then at the man who'd just spent $60 million thinking it would fix everything. You know what's funny, Luca?
What?
You think you did this for me, but you did it for yourself. To ease your guilt. To prove you still care, even though you forgot my birthday, stood me up at the courthouse, and let Sophia destroy everything I valued. Bella. And the best part? I looked at Dimitri. Tell them. He smiled.
Slow.
Dangerous. The $60 million you just spent goes directly to the children's charity. None of it goes to recovering the painting.
That was donated to the auction by me.
3 months ago. The room erupted in whispers. You. Luca's face went white. You donated it. I recovered it.
Cleaned it.
Restored it.
Dimitri looked at me.
Then I gave it to charity because I knew Isabella would want it used for good. And tonight, Mr. Moretti, you just donated $60 million to orphans whose parents died in mob wars. He turned to the crowd. Let's give Mr. Moretti a round of applause for his generous contribution. The room exploded in applause. Luca stood there, holding a painting that wasn't even his, having spent $60 million on nothing. Sophia's face was frozen in a smile that didn't reach her eyes. Marco and Nico looked like they'd been slapped. Thank you for your contribution, I said quietly. Those children will benefit from your generosity. Now, if you'll excuse us, my husband and I have dinner reservations. As we walked out, Dimitri leaned down and whispered, How did I do? You're terrifying, I said, smiling for the first time all night. I love it. Why did you really do it? I asked later that night. We were back at the penthouse, shoes off, expensive clothes discarded, sitting on the balcony with wine. Do what? Recover my parents' painting. Donate it. You could have just given it to me. Dimitri was quiet for a long moment. Then he pulled out his phone and opened a photo album I'd never seen before. The first photo took my breath away. It was me, at 16, leaving school. I was laughing at something, books clutched to my chest.
He swiped.
Me at 17, at my father's grave, laying flowers.
Swipe.
Me at 19, at a cafe, reading a book about art restoration.
Swipe.
Me at 21, at a gallery opening, wearing a blue dress I'd forgotten I owned. Photo after photo after photo. How long have you been? 6 years, he said quietly. Since your father died in my arms and made me promise to protect you. I've been keeping that promise from a distance. I didn't know whether to be terrified or touched. Obsessive. He set the phone down.
Probably.
But I needed to know you were safe. And the more I watched, the more I realized you were drowning. And nobody saw it but me. He swiped to another photo. Me at the Moretti estate, sitting alone in the garden. Even in the photo, I looked lost. This was taken 6 months ago, the day Sophia arrived. I remembered that day. The brothers had been so excited about their rescue. I'd felt forgotten already. I thought about approaching you 100 times, Dimitri continued. But you loved them. I could see it. And I couldn't compete with that. So I waited. For what? For them to break your heart badly enough that you'd finally leave. For you to realize you deserved better. He looked at me. For the 100th time we crossed paths. The courthouse. Number 100. I'd seen you 99 times before. Always from a distance. Always wishing I could, he stopped. On the 100th time, I stopped wishing. I acted. I set down my wine. My hands were shaking. You married me because you've been in love with me for 6 years? I married you because I made a promise to your father. But yes. His eyes met mine. Honest. Unflinching. I've been in love with you for 6 years. You just didn't know I existed. Show me, I said. Show you what? All of it. Every photo. Every moment you were there when I didn't know. So he did. 99 photos. 99 times our paths had crossed. at galleries, at cafes, at charity events, at the cemetery where both our families were buried. Here. He stopped on one photo. This is my favorite. It was me in a bookstore. I was reaching for something on a high shelf, standing on my toes, and the sunlight was coming through the window just right. And I looked happy. You look like that when you forget people are watching, he said quietly. Like the world is full of beautiful things and you're trying to see all of them at once. When was this taken? 3 years ago. It was the moment I admitted to myself that keeping you safe wasn't just a promise anymore. It was personal. I touched the screen. That girl in the photo looked so innocent, so unaware that someone was falling in love with her from across a crowded bookstore. Why didn't you say something? Because love isn't about taking what you want. It's about waiting until you're wanted back. He looked at me. And on that courthouse step, when you said yes, that was the first time you saw me.
Really saw me.
And I wasn't going to waste it. I kissed him. Not because I owed him. Not because he'd saved me. But because for the first time in my life, I felt chosen. Not as a duty. Not as an obligation. But as someone's first choice. And that meant everything. The next morning, my phone exploded with messages. Not from the Moretti brothers. From their business partners. What did you do? The Morettis are in freefall. 6 companies pulled their contracts overnight. I showed Dimitri. He smiled. I may have made a few calls. A few? Okay. A lot of calls. They hurt you.
I hurt their bottom line.
That's how this works. Dimitri. Don't.
He turned to me.
I know you still care about them. Part of you always will. But they need to understand there are consequences for treating people like they're disposable. He wasn't wrong. That afternoon, Luca called. I stared at my phone for 3 rings before answering. What? We need to talk. We really don't. Bella, please. The family business is collapsing. Did your husband do this? Did you destroy my wedding dress? Silence. Did you forget my birthday? Stand me up at the courthouse? Ignore me for 6 months while you fawned over a woman you barely knew? That's not. Answer the question, Luca. More silence. Yes, he finally said. Yes, we did all of that. And I'm sorry. We were wrong. Is that what you want to hear? I want to hear that you understand why it was wrong. Not just that you're sorry, because there are consequences now. He struggled. I don't know what you want from me, Bella. I wanted you to choose me. Just once. Over Sophia. Over anything. I wanted to matter. You do matter. Then why did it take losing your business contracts to realize it? He didn't have an answer. That evening, Marco called. Then Nico. Both with the same apologies. Both with the same confusion about why I was doing this. I'm not doing anything, I told Nico. Dimitri is protecting me. The way you were supposed to. We did protect you. From physical threats? Sure. But what about emotional ones? What about Sophia systematically destroying everything I valued while you watched? Where were you then? We didn't know. You didn't want to know. There's a difference. 2 days later, Don Moretti showed up at the penthouse. Dimitri almost didn't let him in. 5 minutes, Dimitri said coldly. You get 5 minutes. Then you leave my wife alone. Don Moretti looked older than I remembered. Tired. Isabella, I failed you. I wasn't expecting that. I made a promise to your father. To raise you as my own. To protect you. To see you happy. He sat down heavily. Instead, I let my sons treat you like you didn't matter. And I said nothing. Why? Because Sophia seemed so helpless, so grateful, and my boys seemed so happy to have someone to protect. He looked at his hands. I thought you were strong enough to handle it, that you didn't need us the way she did. So you sacrificed me for her? I sacrificed you for my son's comfort. And I was wrong. He met my eyes. Your father would be ashamed of me. And he'd be right. I felt tears building but refused to let them fall. I don't forgive you. I don't expect you to. But I understand. I took a breath. You taught them to protect the weak, to take care of people who need help. Those are good values. But you forgot to teach them that strong people need love too. That just because someone doesn't cry doesn't mean they're not breaking. I know that now. Too late. I know that too. He stood. Your husband is a good man. Better than my sons, I think. Take care of each other. We will. After he left, Dmitri pulled me close. Are you okay? I don't know, I admitted. Part of me wanted him to grovel, to beg, to fight for me the way you do. And the other part? The other part just feels sad for what we all lost. That's called grieving, Dmitri said quietly. You're allowed to grieve, even when leaving was the right choice. That night, everything changed again. Someone leaked documents to the press. Medical records, financial statements, police reports, all of Sophia's lies, exposed in excruciating detail. The car accident? Staged. Driver paid $50,000 to swerve at the right time and barely missed them. The bullet wound she'd claimed from saving them? Self-inflicted. Barely a graze. The endless medical emergencies? Faked. Her mother wasn't on it. Former actress who taught Sophia how to cry on command. Every single thing about Sophia Marino was a lie. And now everyone knew it. The Moretti brothers showed up at Sophia's room at midnight. I know because Marco called me immediately after. He was crying. I'd never heard Marco cry before. She's been lying about everything, he said, voice breaking. Every single thing. The rescue, the injuries, all of it. I know. How long have you known? I suspected from the beginning. Dmitri confirmed it 2 weeks ago. And you didn't tell us? Would you have believed me? Or would you have defended her and called me jealous? Silence. Because we both knew the answer. What did she say? I asked. When you confronted her? She tried to claim she did it because she loved us. Because she wanted to be part of the family. His laugh was bitter. Then Luca showed her the bank statements. She'd been stealing from us for months. Small amounts we wouldn't notice. Building up a nest egg. For what? For when she got bored of us and moved on to the next family. He was quiet for a moment. We were marks, Bella. Just marks. And we fell for it because we wanted to feel like heroes. What are you going to do? Luca wants to press charges. Nico wants to handle it differently. I just want her gone. Then make her gone, I said quietly, and move on with your lives. What about you? What about me? Do you think, could we ever? No, Marco. We can't. Even now that we know the truth? Especially now. I took a breath. Because the truth is, you chose her over me every single day. Whether she was real or fake doesn't change that. You showed me who you really are. I'm just finally believing you. Pause. They kicked Sophia out that night. No money. No references. No mercy. She tried calling me 16 times. I blocked her number after the third voicemail of her sobbing and begging. Dimitri watched me do it. Feeling guilty?
No.
Should I be?
No.
She made her choices. Actions have consequences. She's going to lose everything. She never had anything real to begin with. Just lies and manipulation. He tilted my chin up. You, on the other hand, have built something real. With me. With your art. With the life you're creating. He was right. 2 days later, everything went wrong. I was in our penthouse garden. Dimitri had created a rooftop space for me to paint. Easels, canvases, perfect northern light. I was working on a new piece when I heard footsteps. Lovely painting. I turned. Sophia stood there. She looked different. Harder. The soft pastels were gone, replaced by sharp blacks. The innocent eyes were cold now. How did you get up here? Your doorman is very trusting. I told him I was your sister. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. We need to talk. We have nothing to talk about, don't we? You ruined my life, Isabella. I exposed the truth. You ruined your own life. Same difference. She pulled something from her purse. A gun. My blood went cold. Sophia, don't. You took everything from me? Her voice cracked, genuine emotion finally breaking through. I had nothing. My whole life, I had nothing. And you? You were handed everything. A family, money, 3 men who loved you. And you threw it away like it meant nothing. So, you thought you'd steal it? I thought I'd take what I deserved. What you were too stupid to appreciate. She raised the gun. But now neither of us gets it. Fair is fair, right? Sophia, please. I'm not Sophia. Her laugh was bitter. My real name is Gianna. Sophia Marino was a character I played. And you know what? I was good at it. Those brothers believed every tear, every trembling lip, every helpless sigh. Then why blow it? Why get caught? Because you wouldn't go away. She screamed it. You were supposed to leave, supposed to give up. But you kept existing, kept being there, kept reminding them of what they really wanted. So I had to get rid of you. By destroying my things? By staging accidents. By killing you, you stupid bitch. The gun steadied, aimed at my chest. I saw her finger start to squeeze the trigger. And then Dimitri was there. He moved faster than should have been possible, throwing himself between us. The gunshot was deafening. Dimitri stumbled. Red bloomed across his white shirt. No! I caught him as he fell. No, 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 Dimitri, please. I'm okay, he gasped, even though he clearly wasn't. Are you hurt? You just got shot. Security burst onto the roof. Someone tackled Sophia, Gianna, whoever she was. But I couldn't look away from Dimitri. His blood was hot on my hands. So much blood. Stay with me, I begged. Please stay with me. Isabella. His hand found my face. Do you love me? What? I need to know. Before, he coughed. Do you love me? Tears streamed down my face.
Yes.
Yes, I love you. I love you so much. Now, stop talking and save your strength. He smiled. Genuine. Beautiful. That's all I needed to hear. Then his eyes closed. The ambulance ride was 7 minutes. Longest 7 minutes of my life. BP dropping. We're losing him. No, you're not. I gripped Dimitri's hand so hard I thought I'd break it. You don't get to leave me. We just found each other. You don't get to leave. At the hospital, they try to make me wait outside. I refused. I'm his wife. I stay with him. Ma'am, we need room to work. Then work around me. I'm not leaving. They didn't argue again. Surgery took 6 hours. I sat in the waiting room, still covered in his blood, staring at nothing. Footsteps. I looked up. The Moretti brothers stood there. All 3 of them, looking devastated. Bella. Lucas started. Not now. We heard what happened. Sophia or Gianna or whoever she is, she's in custody. They're charging her with attempted murder, fraud, extortion. Good. Is he? Nico asked quietly. I don't know. They're still in surgery. Marco sat down beside me, not touching, just present. This is our fault. Yes, I said. It is. If we'd listened to you, if we'd seen what she really was, then maybe my husband wouldn't have a bullet in his chest right now. They all flinched. But you know what? I looked at each of them. Even if you had listened, even if you'd chosen me from the beginning, I still wouldn't have ended up with any of you. Why not? Luca asked. Because Dimitri saw me when I was invisible. He chose me when I was unchosen. He took a bullet for me without hesitation. I stood up. And somewhere in the past 6 weeks, I fell completely in love with him. Not as an escape. Not as revenge. But because he's the man I didn't know I was waiting for. Bella. That letter you found in my drawer? The one saying who I chose? It was for you, Luca. I wrote it when I was 20. I thought I loved you. His face crumpled. But I didn't love you. I loved the idea of you. The promise of you. The life I thought we'd have together. I wiped my eyes. And then I met someone who actually deserved that love. And I realized what I felt for you was just familiarity. Comfort. Hope that you'd finally see me. We see you now, Nico said desperately. I know. But it's too late. I don't want to be seen out of guilt or obligation. I want to be someone's first choice, always. And Dimitri? He chose me from the moment he met me. He just waited until I was ready to choose him back. The surgeon appeared. Mrs. DeVito? I moved before I could think. Is he? The surgery was successful. The bullet missed his heart by 2 centimeters. He lost a lot of blood, but he's stable. He's asking for you. I was moving before he finished talking. Dimitri was pale. Tubes everywhere. Monitors beeping. But his eyes were open. And when he saw me, he smiled. Hey, Tesoro. I burst into tears. You idiot. You beautiful, stupid, reckless idiot. Did you mean it? His voice was rough. When you said you loved me, I meant every word. Good. He squeezed my hand weakly. Because I've been in love with you for 6 years. Would be really embarrassing if it was one-sided. I laughed through my tears. You took a bullet for me. Of course I did. You're mine. That's what you do for the person you love. His eyes started to drift closed. Besides, promised your father I'd protect you. You kept your promise, I whispered. Now rest. I'm not going anywhere. Never. Never. 6 months later. We're in Italy. The Amalfi Coast. Villa overlooking the Mediterranean. Dimitri's scar is fading. Sometimes he touches it absently, and I kiss his fingers to remind him he's alive. My art studio is on the eastern side of the villa. Perfect light. Perfect view. Perfect peace. I'm working on a new piece when my phone buzzes. A text from Luca. I saw your exhibition in New York last week. The painting of the garden, where Dmitri took the bullet. It's powerful, devastating, beautiful, just like you always were. I'm glad you're happy, Bella. You deserve it. We're sorry it took losing you to finally see what we had. I don't respond. There's nothing left to say. What's that smile for? Dmitri appears behind me, arms wrapping around my waist. Just thinking about how different my life is now. Better or worse? I turn in his arms.
Better.
So much better. Even with the bullet scar? Especially with the bullet scar. It reminds me what real love looks like. I kiss him. Reckless.
Selfless.
Unconditional. I'd do it again, he says quietly. Take 100 bullets if it meant keeping you safe. Let's try to avoid that.
Deal.
We stand there, wrapped in each other, looking out at the sea. My phone buzzes again. Marco, this time, we're getting therapy. All three of us. Trying to understand how we became the kind of men who could lose someone like you. It won't change anything. I know that. But I wanted you to know we're trying to be better. I show Dmitri. How do you feel? He asks.
Sad. Relieved.
Grateful I got out. I look up at him. Mostly grateful I found you. I was always there, Tesoro. You just needed to be ready to see me. I see you now. And I see you. Always have. Always will. Because that's what real love is. It's not waiting for someone to choose you when it's convenient. It's not accepting crumbs when you deserve the whole feast. It's not staying invisible and hoping someone will finally notice. Real love is being seen, being chosen, being someone's first priority, always. And I finally have that. The Moretti brothers taught me what I didn't want. Dmitri DeVito taught me what I deserved. And for the first time in 22 years, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. Home. This story was about finding your worth when the people who should have valued you didn't. It's about knowing when to walk away from familiar pain. And it's about recognizing real love when it finally shows up, even if it comes from the most unexpected place. Because sometimes the greatest act of self-love is choosing someone who chooses you back. Every single time. Without hesitation. Without conditions. Without question.